Welcome to the Steelers by the Lake podcast. My name is James Strong, joined once again by my co-host Cody Tanner. Cody, how are you on this fine Friday morning?
Oh, James, I'm doing all right. It is homecoming weekend here in Edinboro, so the roads and everything's going to be crazy this weekend. Not looking forward to that, but I am going to take the dog down to the parade on Saturday, so that'll be a good time. James, how are you doing today?
Doing good, man. Dreading next week. I've decided to go back to work light duty.
Ooh.
Can't really do a whole lot still with this arm, but I need to get things moving back in the right direction and getting adjusted back to the whole work life. So if you're new to us, I had shoulder surgery 2 months ago, rotator cuff and bicep repair. So it took me out of a physical job for a while.
It's time to get back. It is time to get back.
Yeah.
I also start work next week. So both of us are going back to work next week, thankfully, here on the Steelers by the Lake podcast. We need to make some money. With that,
which means expect our podcasts to be recorded in the evening on Mondays and Fridays, most likely. And if we can't do Friday evenings, we'll do Saturday mornings. So expect that for when we're going to get them out to you.
Yeah, and we'll be flexible depending on obviously Thursday night games and stuff like that. I think we have one Thursday night game this year. But anyways, James, oh my Lanta, when I look at these two injury reports, holy crap. So we're going to talk Raiders football. We're going to talk Steelers football because that's the whole thing. We'll get to the injuries in a second, but James and I were looking at it before the show, and wow, both these teams are just riddled with injury right now. So before we get there, we do want to talk some things that from Mike Tomlin's press conference. James, you want to go ahead and head that up?
Yeah, it's always bad when on a Tuesday press conference, your head coach rules out some guys that just got injured 2 days previous.
Yep.
But that's exactly what he did. He ruled out Nick Herbig with that hamstring, DeMarvin Leal with that neck. He still called Alex Highsmith out, but Alex Highsmith did get some practice in this week. We'll tell you a little bit about that. Jaylen Warren and Patterson, we mentioned both of those guys, and also DeMonte KZ with that ankle. So it's just a long list of guys that he was kind of giving updates and saying that a lot of them were either expected to be out or kind of doubtful, best case scenario, limited in practice all week kind of thing.
Yep. Not going to be a good time for a lot of these guys. It's going to be hurting with Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig out this week. We obviously went without Alex the last, 2 weeks it was or whatever. But Nick Herbig came in and played very well. Now what's going to happen? So that's a big question mark moving forward. And it's just going to be very interesting. But James, let's hop into this injury report. You want to do Steelers or you want me to?
I'll let you take the Steelers on, and then I'll talk about the opponent as we normally do.
All right. So Russell Wilson, quarterback, obviously he's dealing with that calf injury. He was full participant all this week. Obviously, it's so early. It's 11:13 a.m. on Friday. We don't have the whether or not these guys played on or practiced today. We will kind of use our best judgment to assume what's going to happen. I'm assuming Russell practiced today. I'm wondering if this is the first week he's not listed as an inactive quarterback and he's the backup. I'm not sure what Mike Tomlin's going to do. Maybe he just sticks with the running him as the emergency backup for now, and then next week we'll see what happens differently. But we'll see what happens there. Najee Harris, non-injury related, rested on Wednesday. Full participant yesterday and probably today. DeMonte KZ, the safety, ankle injury, did not participate all three, or more than likely all 3 days. Jaylen Warren was limited the first 2 days of the week. I'm assuming he was going to be limited today as well. There's been talks about if he's coming back. He says he's ready, but he also says that it's up to the coaching staff if he plays or not. I don't want to rush him back. I want him to come back 100%. Let's run with who we got and figure it out. I mean, don't get me wrong. We need to make better holes for Najee as it is. So we'll see what happens there. Minkah Fitzpatrick, non-injury related rest, limited on Wednesday, full on Thursday, more than likely full today. Expect to see him on Sunday. Nick Herbig and Alex Highsmith, hamstring and groin injuries respectively. Don't expect either of them to play. Isaac Seumalo, non-injury related rest. He didn't participate on Wednesday. What? What was
Oh,
your
just
question?
noting there that Alex Highsmith was limited this week, and that's the first time in a few weeks.
That's true. That's very big.
So,
Hopefully
there
he's
is
limited today as
some
well.
promise there. There's a chance of that. We'll see.
Yeah. Michael Pruitt, the tight end with a knee injury, limited participation all week so far. Cordero Patterson, ankle injury, didn't participate all week so far. Unless something changes today, expect him, or we, obviously expect him to be out as he's listed as doubtful. TJ Watt, non-injury related, rest on Wednesday, full participant yesterday, full participant more than likely today. Cam Hayward also resting yesterday and Wednesday. Expect him to be a full participation today. DeMarvin Leal with the neck injury didn't participate all week. Don't expect him to go because he's already listed as out. Larry Ogunjobi, non-injury related with rest, didn't participate on Wednesday, limited on Thursday. And then Pat Freiermuth, unfortunately dealing with a calf injury, limited on Thursday. Don't have any understanding of what he's going to be like today. So a couple of new injuries on there and a lot of the ones we expected to see. So
Yeah, so at least we've got some guys headed back in the right direction. You mentioned Jaylen Warren getting some limited practice in last week. He didn't practice at all. Same with Alex Highsmith, so he's heading in the right direction. Also, Michael Pruitt, which might actually be low-key really important because this team ran a lot better when we had a healthy Michael Pruitt blocking. Not that he's the only thing that changed. We also are now missing James Daniels, Troy Fatanu. So there's some key cogs, some powerful guys that were blocking those first couple of games that we no longer have. So at least one of them coming back, it appears. So at least nice to see some of these guys working their way back from injury. And honestly, I'm excited to see what we get out of Russell Wilson. Will he play? Honestly, I hope not, because if he doesn't play, that means that Fields is doing real well. And I would love to see Justin Fields go out there and just ball out and kind of put all the doubters, shut them up a little bit, including myself, because I'm a little bit worried about him right now after back-to-back losses. So on to the Raiders injury list. And it's as long or longer than the Steelers one. So hold on there. First one, Davante Adams. Many of you have probably heard about the trade rumors with him circulating with the Jets, also the Saints, and then the Steelers as well. He says the Saints and Jets are two of his places he would like to go. Did not mention Pittsburgh. I don't blame him. The passing game isn't really cruising right now, so I get that. But Pittsburgh obviously is going to stay in this market and try to see if they can finagle them for next to nothing like they've been able to do a time or two in the past year. Max Crosby's been taking the week off. He's got an ankle injury that he's dealing with. My understanding is that he's been doing this where he doesn't practice all week long and then plays on Sunday. So I would expect him to play, even though he's been a do not participate the last couple of days. Off-ball linebacker Divine Diablo's got an oblique muscle. He was full the last 2 days. I'd expect him to go. Linebacker Tommy Eichenberg's got a hamstring. He did not participate the last couple of days, so I'd expect him to be out. Tight end Michael Mayer has a personal situation going on, so prayers up for him, whatever that may be, is bad enough to get him away from the team for a couple of days. They're sounding as though they're not expecting that to resolve itself by Sunday.
Gotcha.
So my guess is the team understands what's going on. They're being respectful and not talking about it, which is the correct thing to do. So hope for the best for Michael Mayer, but we may not have to play against him on Sunday. Wide receiver Tyreek McAllister's got a shoulder. He was a full participant Thursday. Expect him to play. Wide receiver Jacoby Myers, who would be their number 2 wide receiver behind Davante Adams. He's got an ankle injury going on and has not been practicing thus far this week. So that is going to be really important to see whether or not he practices today, as to whether or not they're going to be without both their top wide receivers. Tackle Colton Miller with a knee and shoulder was limited in practice today. Safety Trevon Morig has a knee and was full. So he appears to be working his way back from his knee injury. Offensive tackle Thayer Munford has a knee and ankle and is also limited. So that's 2 offensive tackles limited. The next one, guard Dylan Parham, has an Achilles and is limited. That's usually something you're a little bit more careful with. So I don't know what their plan is with him and whether or not he's been missing time, but guard Jackson Powers Johnson, knee, did not participate in practice the last 2 days. Yes, we're up to 4 offensive linemen for them now. I'm interested to see the depth chart to see if those guys are starters or not. Number 25, cornerback Dekamarion Richardson with a hamstring is also limited. Wide receiver DJ Turner has a hamstring and is limited. That's 3 wide receivers now for them? 4 wide receivers for them.
4.
Running back Zamir White with a groin did not participate, so expect him to miss. And then safety Trey Taylor with a knee was full. So both of their safeties have knee injuries, but are practicing and expected to play. Their wide receiver core is extremely banged up. That is 4 wide receivers, and that is 4 offensive linemen. They're dealing with a lot of similar issues to Pittsburgh. As it hits one room and then just kind of devastates you.
Yep.
Our offensive line has been devastated with injuries, and then the second room for us, that outside linebacker room for them, their second room appears to be the wide receiver room. So.
Yep.
Might ease up the stress a little bit on Beanie Bishop this week, hopefully.
Very well could. Yeah, the one thing I will say, I did do a little bit digging into the Michael Myers situation. One reporter for them on Twitter said his family has reached out to the team and informed them it's a situation that has occurred in his life before and has popped up again. It has nothing to do with him wanting a trade or being frustrated with playing time. It's more than likely mental health issues. So definitely prayers up to him dealing with that. Mental health, men and women, is no joke. And we pray nothing but the best and that he gets better for himself and his family and his team. So with that being said, go for it.
Before we go into it, this week is going to be a big week for the practice squad outside linebackers. Mike Tomlin mentioned them in his press conference that he's excited to see what these guys have. So a couple names to look at. Neither one of them is going to be an easy one for me to pronounce. First one, Iku Leotu, who's 6'4", 257 pounds. He's a second-year guy out of Auburn. Does have a little bit of experience with the Carolina Panthers previous to coming to Pittsburgh. And then the second guy is going to be Adetokunbo Ogundeje, which I believe he might have been elevated last week. He's 6'4", 268 pounds. He's been in the league for 4 years now with some experience with the Atlanta Falcons. Actually has some starting experience.
Hey, there you go.
With 11 starts in one season. So I would think that he's probably going to be the guy they lean on a little bit more.
Yep.
With the larger frame, he might be a little more useful against the run. Also, that starting experience. I'd expect him to be the elevation if they only elevate one of these two guys. But we'll find that on Saturday, and I will have a TikTok out for you guys, letting you know what's going on with the elevations and injuries on Sunday.
Absolutely. All right. With that being said, James, it's time to look at their roster. Starting on the offensive side of the ball, Gardner Minshew is their quarterback. However, Aiden O'Connell has already been declared the starter for them by their head coach. So they haven't fixed it on here, but Alden O'Connell will get his first start.
Aiden,
excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh, we cracked open the energy drink. Here we go.
It's time.
Looking at their wide receiver room, Devontae Adams, obviously, injury. Jacoby Myers listed as a starter as well. Injury. Tyreek McAllister listed as a backup, as well as Trey Tucker and DJ Turner. So there's only 5 wide receivers listed on here. How many?
4 of them are injured.
And 4 of them are injured. So it's going to be very interesting. And then tight ends, there's two starters listed: Brock Bowers, the rookie, and Michael Myers. Michael Myers not going to be there. Harrison Bryant listed as his backup, so that'll be interesting. Running back Zamir White also listed with an injury. Alexander Madison, the backup. Amir Abdullah also had some starting time with the Detroit Lions, listed as a backup as well. And then, James, you look at this offensive line. And how many of these guys did we just talk about? Let's find out here. So the starting left tackle, Colton Miller, listed here. He is not one of those guys listed on that list. Starting left guard, Cody Whitehair, not one of the guys listed on that list, luckily for them. Center, Andre James, not one of the guys listed. Right guard, Dylan Parham, listed here with the Achilles injury. And then Thayer Munford Jr., the right tackle, also dealing with that knee and ankle injury. So there's a chance that that right side of that offensive line is going to struggle, which is phenomenal for TJ Watt.
Yes, it is.
If they're gonna struggle on one side, I'd love it to be that side. So be interesting to see how this all plays out and what happens.
And the tight end Brock Bowers is an undersized move guy.
Yep.
He's wide receiver type tight end, so he's not going to be used most likely as a chipping and blocking option. So I would expect them to use Harrison Bryant and John Samuel Shanker, the other tight ends listed here on the depth chart. Probably Harrison Bryant. He spent some time with the Cleveland Browns. Has at least some capability as a blocker. So I would expect them to go that route with the chipping and double teaming of TJ Watt, because it's coming, right? They're not going to fear whatever we have on the opposite side, because we don't even know what we have on the opposite side right now.
Yep.
So moving along to the defense for the Las Vegas Raiders here. The edge rushers, we're looking at Max Crosby and Charles Snowden. Again, you should be pretty familiar with Max Crosby. He is dealing with an ankle injury. We don't know at what percentage healthiness he is. My guess is not that great. Starting defensive tackles, John Jenkins and Adam Butler. And then Christian Wilkins would be in that starting lineup, but is on the injured reserve. That was their big offseason addition to this defense here.
Yep.
Off-ball linebackers, Divine Diablo, we saw him on the injury list. Tommy Eichenberg, we saw him on the injury list. And then the quarterback of the defense, Robert Spillane.
Yep.
And if you think Robert Spillane is not highly motivated for the game, you're dead wrong. So he's going to be using every ounce of knowledge he has of the Steelers offense. So if they haven't changed a lot of things from when he was here a couple of years ago, you'll know, because Robert Spillane's going to have a monster day.
Yep.
So that's something to keep an eye out for sure. Now, when we get to the secondary here, we've got left cornerback Jack Jones, right cornerback Jacorian Bennett, nickel back Nate Hobbs, and then the starting safeties Trayvon Morg, who we saw on the injured list, and Isaiah Polamalu.
Yep.
Who was, I believe, the cousin of Troy Polamalu at the other starting safety position. So some injuries for sure on this defense, with 2 of the 3 starting off-ball linebackers being injured, and a safety and an edge rusher. So definitely nicked up on this side of the ball as well. Yeah,
hoping we can take some advantage of that. We need a win big time. I don't want to go into week 7 at 500. I'd like to be 2 wins, especially, the Ravens are the one team in the division that seem to be getting their act together, and we got to keep up with them if we want a chance to fight for the division at the end of the year. Looking over special teams, punter AJ Cole, he's also the placeholder. Kicker Daniel Carlson, and then long snapper Jacob Bobenmoyer, because long snappers matter too. And then kick returners listed as Amir Abdullah with Tyreek McAllister backing him up, and punt returner Trey Tucker with Tyreek McAllister backing him up. So going to be interested to see how this all plays out. Even some injuries on special teams, but James, it's going to be interesting. And now it's time for us to share our 3 keys to success in leaving Las Vegas with a win. Obviously, number 1 for both of us should be don't go gambling, but that's beside the point. James, it's your week to go first. Go ahead and hit me with your 3 keys to success.
It is my number 1 key for this week. Will make a lot of sense as soon as I say it, and I haven't gone anywhere near the topic previously. I want to see 10 plus points in the first half of this week's game. But a lot of slow starts. We've talked about how we want to see more successful drives. We want to see more points. I'm putting a number on it. I want at least 10 points in the first half. I'll feel a lot better about it if you don't need to score 17 plus in the second half of this game in order to win, because the Raiders are not a high scoring team. I'm looking at their games so far this year. They've got 10 points in a game, 26, 22, 20, and 18. They're not putting up a ton of points either. So we shouldn't have to score 27 or 30 points in order to win. Get that 10 points in the first half, and you're already halfway there to get to a comfortable area where you've got a chance of winning the game. So that's key number 1 for me. Number 2, I love talking about quarterback sacks. This week, my key is going to be at least 2 sacks from non-TJ Watt players. I'm saying the rest of the defense combined. It is more important than ever with the injuries to Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, and the Marvin Leal. We're going to be looking at practice squad guys getting a significant amount of playing time, most likely, and even a little bit of Isaiah Loudermilk getting some outside linebacker reps, I understand, in practice and even in the game last week. So that'll be an odd look, but I'm not opposed to it in those short yardage situations. Why not get another beefy dude out there? So definitely need some pass rush, whether it be from Cam Hayward, Keanu Benton, or these other outside linebackers. Even let's get some of these middle linebackers involved. Let's do some of those Fire X blitzes that we used to be known for back in the 90s and early 2000s and start twisting those middle linebackers and just getting after the quarterback. A young guy like Aiden O'Connell, you can definitely get him razzled if you get in there and hit him. The last key for me, it's time to get the run game going again, and I need at least 125 yards rushing out of this offense this week. There's easily a path to doing it. This is a banged up Raiders defense. We said that last week about the Cowboys, and still we're unable to get things going. I think that offensive line is going to gel a little bit more. This will be 2 consecutive weeks with the same offensive line group starting. So that's a step in the right direction. Isaac Seumalo will be 1 week healthier and stronger than he was last week. I think that'll help as well. And I think we're going to see a couple runs get sprung this week. So I'm going 125 plus on the rushing yardage. What say you, Mr. Tanner?
What say me? So I'm going to kind of I'm going to be along the same lines as you for that second one. My first key to success is just hitting Aiden O'Connell early and often. Don't this is you might view this as like a strength for us because we're going up against a young quarterback and we typically play young quarterbacks well. Well, I view this as a weakness in the sense that there's not much film on him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a little concerned with not having film on him, not being able to prepare quite as well as maybe we would have if, Gardner Minshew was starting, because we obviously have a lot of film against him or with him. But with that being said, I love your points when I'm not going to go in the same direction. I am going to go in the fact that I want to have at least 20 points in the game. I want to see us break 20. It hasn't happened very often, only twice so far this year. And one of those times we still lost. So I want Pittsburgh to break 20 points again. I would love us to break 30, but I'm not going to set that as a goal if we haven't done it yet. That's just kind of where I'm at. And then the last one is going to be, if it's kind of go along the same path as the turnover battle that I typically talk about, but it's going to be scoring off of turnovers. I want every time we get a turnover or force a turnover, I want to get at least 3 points out of it. I don't want this 3 and out after the defense makes a big play. They have to go right back out there. I want Pittsburgh to make sure we're scoring and utilizing those turnovers to put up points on the board. Those are my 3 keys to success. And then, James, I'm going with a score prediction if you want me to share mine real quick.
Yeah, go for it, brother.
23, Pittsburgh, obviously, and the Las Vegas Raiders 13. Nice little 10-point win is what I'm going with.
All right. I'm in similar mind of you. I don't think this is going to be an extremely high-scoring game. I'm skeptical of Pittsburgh's defense shutting people out the way they did the first 3 weeks now.
Yep.
Just too banged up. That secondary is not doing a great job. Like they were doing a much better job the first 3 weeks. I'm going to go 24-17 with Pittsburgh winning. I think we're going to get 3 touchdowns and a field goal this week, and I think that'll be plenty to put away the Raiders.
That's definitely our goal. If you guys have your 3 keys to success and your score predictions, feel free to share them with us on social media or in the comments if you're on YouTube. We can't thank you guys enough for listening. Remember, Steelers play at 4:05 this week against the Las Vegas Raiders, so get that ready for watching on Sunday. Enjoy some time with your family. And again, we can't thank you guys enough for listening and watching. Be sure to like and follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Subscribe, ring the bell. It's free. Don't cost you a thing. Don't forget the 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Make James very happy. And until next time, this is your host, James and Cody, signing off.
Peace.
Steelers. Steelers by the lake. Now it's on. Can't wait for you. I've any time. Steelers by the lake. Now it's time.